Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Podcast Action Committee, episode 127. And that's about it. We're going to continue chatting like we have just been for the last 6 minutes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Andrew here, EZK, Zachary Knight, hi, Zachary.
Hello. You play anything interesting this weekend or this week?
Yeah, actually, Nintendo sent me a demo code for Monster Hunter 4, I almost said 3, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate 3DS. And as many of you know, I've been kind of poo-pooing Monster Hunter on the 3DS. I'm like, I don't want to play it on a handheld. I want to play it on my console. I want to play it on my big TV. I don't want to play it on the handheld. It's just not the kind of game I want to play in a handheld, and I love Monster Hunter, so it really bothers me. But, I got a free demo code, so I said, hey, I'll check it out. So I played that, and you know what? I really don't want to play this game on a handheld. So, unless they do a Wii U port, I'm unfortunately going to have to skip it, which bums me right the hell out, because I like Monster Hunter, and I like a lot of what they're doing with Monster Hunter 4, but man, this is not a handheld game for me. Nintendo actually sent me 3 extra codes. People who got codes for the demo got 3 extra codes to give to your friends so you can hunt together. So I went on Facebook and said, hey, I've got 3 extra codes for this, so message me if you want them. First come, first serve. They were gone in under 5 minutes. I was like, whoa. And
Nice.
I don't have that large of a reach, so that tells me that either my fan base have really good taste in games, or Monster Hunter is a lot more popular than some may give it credit for. May give it credit. I played with the Insect Glaive, which is a bow staff, and Donatello is my favorite Ninja Turtle, so that's why. But it's really cool. You beat things with a stick, and it's got a bug that sits in the handle that you can send out to suck juices out of the monster for various buffs, like attack buffs, movement buffs, defense buffs.
Interesting.
And you can also pole vault with your stick and jump on the back of the monsters and stab them in the back of the head while holding on for dear life. So it's kind of Shadow of Colossus-y going on there. Really like the game, I really do, but damn it, I don't want to play it on a handheld. Other than that, I've been.
You love it.
I do love. I'm not quite sure about the environments themselves. Have a lot of verticality because climbing is a big deal in this game. I'm not quite convinced that works for the best, but I haven't put enough time in the game to really come to a conclusion on that.
Yeah.
Also, some of the environments, and it may just be the fact that they're new areas and I'm not used to them. Some of the exits, some of the various arenas have what to me looks like an exit to the next area, but it's kind of it's an invisible wall. I'm like, oh, I can't go that way. So occasionally I'd be like, well, where is the exit for this screen? And that got a little confusing a couple times, but. Oh, also, if you're serious about playing Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, you are probably really going to want the new 3DS for the little control stick nub, or get that Circle Controller Pro, whatever it's called, for the extra stick, because it has a D-pad on the touchscreen that you can kind of move your thumb over to press to move the camera, but you can work with it, but in the heat of battle, that it's a little tough because you have to kind of glance down quickly to make sure your thumb's in the right place. Delirical One says it seems that more people are getting into Monster Hunter. Yeah, and well, they should be. Hi, Viper. Monster Hunter is a great game. It's not for everyone, granted. And Holy Biscuits is if you're new to the game, the learning curve is like a vertical wall. I mean, you have to want it. The game is not very friendly.
Nice.
It's got like a 5-hour boring tutorial. Not an unnecessary tutorial, but it's a really complicated game. It's the kind of game that requires you to get outside help. You're kind of required to consult a strategy guide or an FAQ or other people to show you the ropes.
Yeah.
And as a single-player gamer, that's a bit off-putting. But
Huh.
Capcom has been with each successive game in the series, they have been getting better and better at both demoing the game. This Monster Hunter 4 demo is a lot better than the Monster Hunter 3 Monster Hunter, the one on the Wii.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Tri. It was a lot better than that demo. So they are getting better, and I'd be interested. I'd be interested to run through like the first several hours of the game and see how this one compares to the front of Monster Hunter 3. But I also played a little bit of Super Mario 3D World. I've been just going back and collecting all the green stars that I missed, and I have like well over 300. This game just keeps opening new worlds to explore, which I really like. Um, most Mario games, they have 6 to 8 worlds, and then sometimes they'll have the special world, the Star World or the Rainbow Road world or whatever. This one has it opens up. I think it has 6 major worlds, and then 6 or 7 or something like that, and then it opens up the Mushroom World, and then it opens up the Flower World, and then it opens up the Star World. I'm like, are we done yet? I mean, is there another world? It just keeps opening up worlds, and I really do. I like that. It's great because I haven't looked at an FAQ, so I have no idea how far I could be. I was playing a boss blitz level before we started the podcast, which could be the last level, or it might just be another world after that. I really have no idea. But I also like the fact that unlike this game actually has some challenge to it, unlike Super Mario Galaxy 2, which I thought was just way too easy. But Super Mario 3D World, it's a good one. So what have you been playing?
This week I didn't play a whole lot. I picked up Ark the Lad on the PlayStation 3 again, and played about an hour and a half of that. And then other than that, I haven't been trying to figure out how I'm going to be working. How I'm going to get my computer fixed, and trying to set up a desktop as a backup, and setting up a development environment for the game dev stuff I'm wanting to do on this laptop that I'm this work laptop, and so this week has been a very unproductive week for me, in the overall scheme of things. Because gaming wise, I just haven't had time to do much of anything. With Ark the Lad, I've got a couple of gripes with that. I've got 2 characters who are completely useless, and the game is nice because it lets you use all the characters you get in battle. Like, there's no selecting which characters you want to use and stuff. But there's a couple of characters that are just completely useless, and they drive me nuts. One of them is he's kind of a summoner type guy. Chungara is his name, and but he's like a one-hit kill guy. Like, any monster can hit him once and he's dead. And then there's some other guy who's supposed to be some kind of a brawler, a guy that will actually, he actually fights with a sword and stuff. But again, he's another one that's a one-hit kill guy, and it drives me insane. So I usually end up using like the same 4 guys to finish each battle, because they're the only ones who are worth their salt in battle. And just really annoying that certain guys are useless. I'd like to be able to find more summons for that one guy, because a couple of them are actually pretty useful, but it's just I just have no idea where they all are. But that's really all I've done. So not much else. Well, I will, outside of gaming, I guess, I did finish all of Avatar The Last Airbender and all of Avatar Legend of Korra recently. And both of those shows are really good. I watched Korra first, because Korra came after the Last Airbender, but because I heard a lot of good things about Legend of Korra, and it's you don't really need to watch the first Last Airbender to understand what's going on, because it's like it happens like nearly like 80 years after Last Airbender, so a lot had changed in that time. And so the game itself was, or the show was really good, and I really liked it, and I was like, I want another season of Legend of Korra because it was that good. But the Last Airbender was really good too. Like all 3 seasons of that were one overall story arc, but Legend of Korra had a different story arc for each season. So that was a good change, I think. But yeah, definitely a show worth watching if you have time and are interested. And anybody has any suggestions for a show I should be watching after that, let me know. I'm very interested in finding something else that's that good.
Urutsuki Doji. It's a great family film.
I'm sure it is.
Let's see if anyone recognizes that title.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I've really been doing. Yeah. Since I can't really develop stuff right now. And I got to figure out how to get my computer fixed, because I'm supposed to be, I think it's either this Thursday or next Thursday, but I'm supposed to be, let's see, yeah, it's probably this Thursday. I think it's the 4th Thursday of every month. But there's a game dev meetup, and I'm supposed to be doing a presentation on Hakes Flixel, and so I, developing with that, and I've got to get figure out how I'm going to do that and stuff with this laptop and everything. Matthew says that Korra performed badly, and that's only because
they took it off TV.
Yeah, Nickelodeon was complete morons. Was it Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network? I can't remember.
Nick, I think.
Yeah, Nickelodeon. But yeah, Nickelodeon are just complete morons, and they took the last season off TV and stuck it online only, and then everybody freaked out and complained, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll put it back on network. But yeah, I think, I don't know, I think them saying it performed badly just meant that Nickelodeon just really didn't like a show with a female lead, because cartoons with female leads don't sell action figures, but do they even sell action figures?
Do they make action figures?
Stuff?
Yeah.
At least that's Cartoon Network's problem when they got rid of Young Justice, just because.
Yeah, I think it's more of a network thing. That network mentality that we still see these days, where it's like, this is an action show and it stars a girl. We can't sell that. Who wants to watch that? Girls don't want to watch a woman beating people up, and guys don't want to watch women doing things because that's emasculating or something. I don't know. And no one buys the toys that we don't manufacture, so it's like, guys. So, but it's getting better.
But I for those anybody watching this who hasn't seen Legend of Korra, there's there's various love plots going on between Korra and a couple of the other characters, and then one of the other male leads, and he has he goes back and forth between Korra and another girl, a friend of Korra's, throughout the 3 seasons, and then the end of the 3rd season alludes to a romantic relationship between Korra and somebody totally unexpected. But
spoilers.
If you watch the whole thing,
or read the news.
Yeah. But if you watch all 3 seasons and you get to the end, you kind of realize, yeah, I can see that they were leading up to this, and So, but it just alludes to it. It doesn't actually say that they're in a romantic relationship. So, but
they just like look at each other's and lightly hold hands or something. So
Mhm.
I think people are reading too much into it. Unless they're kissing with tongues, I don't think there's anything here. So,
But yeah, definitely good shows. If you haven't seen them, go and watch them.
but stay away from the live action movie,
Yeah,
from what I
I've
hear.
seen the Everything Wrong With and the honest trailer for it, and yeah, I'm not at all interested.
I've read reviews and I've seen a few vlogs on it, and man, it was right up there with Twilight levels of vitriol.
Yeah.
So
Well, and apparently they did a worse job translating the series to a movie than the Dragon Ball Z movie did, or the Dragon Ball movie. Yeah, they
mhm.
did a worse job than Dragon Ball. So if that's even humanly possible, M. Night Shyamalan figured it out.
Yeah. So okay, let's look at this week's poll, which is right here. It says, "How will Brazil react to Nintendo no longer selling its games there?" So Nintendo, due to some really high tariffs, which are taxes on stuff that get imported into Brazil, and require, which is why the Wii U costs like 800-900 US, the equivalent of about 800 or 900 US dollars in Brazil. And I think the PS4 and Xbox One are in the low thousands, somewhere like 1,200 or 1,300 US dollar equivalent, because of the damn import taxes. All the video game stuff is really expensive. So Nintendo said, you know what? We're just not going to sell
Screw
stuff.
it. Yeah.
We're out.
Yeah,
So
their statement was Brazil is an important market for Nintendo and home to many passionate fans, but unfortunately challenges in the local business environment have made our current distribution model unsustainable in the country. But yeah, it's very important for Nintendo, but Nintendo's not going to do anything with them. But yeah, I completely agree with them. I've spoken at length with British gamers and game developers, and everyone hates that. It's like the PS2 is still the best-selling console there because they can actually get it for like $300, US dollars.
yeah.
Anything modern is just priced out of everybody's range.
Yeah. Surprisingly, the games aren't too bad. Unless the numbers I was pulling up weren't correct, the games are only like maybe $15 to $20 more expensive than ours. It seems like Australia has it worse on the game.
Yeah, I think most of Brazil's tariffs and stuff are on the electronics, the consoles themselves, rather than the actual games. But the games are still fairly expensive. But piracy is still a very big thing there. I think that was another reason why the PS2 is very popular, because it's easy to pirate games there. You can buy burned copies of everything. And so there's a huge pirate market. It's like you actually go to the market squares in Brazilian cities, and there's bootleg PS2 stands everywhere. So
something Destructoid suggested is maybe Nintendo should start manufacturing consoles in Brazil, and that way they wouldn't have to pay these high tariffs and could sell them for reasonable prices, and
yeah,
the
I believe
Brazilian kids would know the joy of Nintendo.
I believe Microsoft and possibly Sony do that.
I think Microsoft does. Not sure about Sony.
And and doing, depending on what the export tariffs are, it might be a good idea to manufacture in Brazil and then export to other South American countries too. But that all depends on if there's export tariffs on anything.
Yeah. So the poll asks, how will Brazil react to Nintendo no longer selling its games there? We had 135 people vote, and 76% said it'll essentially shrug and move on. Yeah, kind of like, whatevs. 2% said it will voluntarily lower its taxes. Yeah, only 3 people voted for that one. The fat chance. 7% said the public will revolt and force the government to lower its taxes so that Nintendo will come back. Shane, come back. There's an old reference. And 14% said it will increase taxes to compensate for the loss. So
I think I voted for that last one.
it'll increase taxes, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause if my understanding of Brazilian politics is that they just love to spend money, and if money doesn't come, like if they don't get enough money to spend, they'll just raise taxes to get that money to spend.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it probably a lot of how much money they were making off of Nintendo in the first place.
Yeah, there's that
and
too.
I don't know how much. So.
Well, and and the about the public revolting, that Brazil hosted the World Cup, the football World Cup last year, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and there were protests everywhere about this because Brazil was spending like tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars building these stadiums and other accommodations for all these football teams and tourists and stuff coming from out of the country. And at the same time, they were ignoring a lot of long-standing issues in Brazil, like infrastructure and healthcare, schools and stuff. They were just completely ignoring long-standing issues in favor of making the World Cup the biggest, craziest thing ever. And so a lot of people were protesting throughout the entire process, from the moment they got the contract to when after the games were over, and Brazil just shrugged and said whatever, and nothing happened because of that. So that's that's why I didn't go for anything else. So did I vote for that? I'm trying to remember. It's I voted I was like the third person to vote, so now I can't remember which one I actually picked. But yeah, it was either they'll increase taxes or they'll just shrug and move on. What about you? What do you think?
I think they're pretty much going to shrug and move on. I don't think much is good. I don't think much noteworthy or newsworthy is going to happen. I don't think there's going to be a large consumer revolt. I don't think. I certainly don't think Brazil's going to lower its taxes to coax Nintendo back. But unless they're missing out on a significant chunk of coinage, I don't think they're going to raise taxes to compensate either. I don't think Nintendo has that much.
They're already way beyond the. Now I can't remember what the thing is called. The curve of how high you can raise taxes before you start losing revenue.
Mm-hmm.
They're already way beyond that when it comes to these things. I don't think raising taxes would net them anything. It might even make them lose revenue because other companies would pull out too.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of a few years back there was a company that tried to make a low-cost console that you downloaded games over the cellular network instead of over the internet or bought physical games, and I don't think that console went anywhere. But
Nope.
It was targeted specifically at countries like Brazil, where where the barrier of entry for being a gamer was very high. So it was supposed to cost like less than a PS1, in Brazil. But
Yeah, it's like start downloading a game on Monday and play it 3 weeks later when it finishes downloading.
Exactly. Yeah, the Laffer curve, Matthew says. Yeah. So I don't see Brazil doing anything other than the only thing that they really can do at this point is shrug and move on or lower its taxes, and I don't know exactly what it's going to take to get them to lower lower their taxes because there's nothing they've done.
Viper just chimed in with a hilarious comment. He says, "This is why the new 3DS charger is now sold separately to compensate for the Brazilian loss of revenue." I
There
bet
you
that's
go.
exactly right.
There we go. That explains it all.
Yeah, for anyone who didn't know, the new 3DS, the one with the better 3D, and it's got a thumbstick, second little nub for a camera control stick. They're not selling it with the charger. Their idea is, pretty much anyone buying a new 3DS probably has some type of 3DS or DSi in their house, so they can use that charger. If not, it only costs $10. You can probably get it for like $5 to $7 on Amazon.
Yeah.
Only problem with that is I'm not sure GameStop will take a 3DS or a DSi without the charger. So even if you do have a charger laying around, if your thought was to trade in your current model for the new model, that might not be an option. I'm really not sure that. I had to talk to Jeremy about that, and because I think he works for GameStop.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the whole charger thing is just kind of annoying. I think it's more of an annoyance than anything else. But yeah, you would think that it would come with one.
Well, yeah, and Nintendo's probably right in that the vast majority of people who buy a new 3DS have that AC adapter somewhere. But again, if you're trading in your old one, I think you might have to trade in the AC adapter too, or GameStop and other places wouldn't take it.
Well, I'm trying to think.
But it is kind of funny that they're selling a
time.
unit that's missing a very vital component. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's got a little charge. So basically, you get it home, you do the update, you set up your Nintendo Network ID, and that's out of batteries, and you can't play it.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of discussions about this that I've read, and everybody mentions that anytime you go and buy a new cell phone, it always comes with the charger, whether it's just a USB cable or the little dongle to plug into the wall and then plug the USB cable in. It's like every phone I've bought comes with a wall charger. I have never once bought one without a wall charger, and it just seems weird. But if Nintendo wouldn't use proprietary charging ports, just use a micro USB port, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have to worry about it.
That eliminates the problem right there. I mean,
Yeah.
Now I don't know how many people actually have a micro USB to regular USB cable, but those aren't very expensive either. If you have a PS3, you have one.
Well, if you have an Android phone,
Oh, do those use it too? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I always forget which ones are which now, because there's the one like the PS3, that there's that USB adapter which a lot of devices use, and then the Android devices use like a flat, thin one.
Mm-hmm. The iPhone does too.
Well, no, the iPhone has a proprietary port.
Oh, is it proprietary? It's long and flat though. I know it's proprietary.
But yeah, using a standard USB format would have negated any issues.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and to avoid any possible piracy issues, or hacking issues, you can get power only USB ports to put in devices, so they wouldn't have to worry about anybody plugging it into their computer and seeing what they can do.
Yeah, I wasn't really surprised to see this simply because, actually, as Viper just pointed out, that in other areas in the world, the 3DSs have been selling without the AC adapter anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess it's our turn.
Micro and mini, yeah. So micro is what the PS3 has, and mini is what the other ones are, vice versa, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually, I looked at my PS3 and I'm like, oh, this is neat. So.
Yeah,
But
the only thing that bugs me about the PS3 is that the USB ports don't generate power when the system's off, so you can't
Mhm.
charge your controllers with the system off, and
Oh,
that's
is that a
really
fact?
annoying. Yeah,
Hmm. You'd think
that's
you'd think in standby mode it would correct for that, but
no, it
interesting.
doesn't. It drives me insane because I don't have a charging stand, and I don't have
Mhm.
any devices nearby that I can just plug a USB cable in, and so oh well.
Hmm. Well, my PS3 is going to sit about right there, and my computer is right here. So I guess if I wanted to charge up the controller, I could just stick it in my PC tower. So it's not really that big a
Yeah.
deal. But since this is where I sit to play video games. I could probably leave the controller plugged in while I'm playing and not have a problem with
Probably.
it.
My thing is all the compatible USB cables I have are 4 footers.
Oh.
And
Yes, that's a little short. I'm not sure how long
yeah,
that thing is, but
well, it's like I've got like a 2 foot one, and then I've got a 4 foot one. And I'm just like I really need like an 8 or a 10 foot one so that I can charge while playing and sitting comfortably because my PS3 is across the room from my couch.
mm.
So
Now before we move on to the next topic, we missed a fun little anime conversation in the chat here. So, what are your thoughts on Hollywood adaptations of anime, like the Ghost in the Shell adaptation, where I think they grabbed Scarlett Johansson for the lead?
um, to be
Any
honest,
thoughts?
I've never seen Ghost in the Shell, and Scarlett Johansson, she's a good enough actress. I like, she does really well as Black Widow, and everything else I've seen her in, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but
Hmm.
she's not a terrible actress. But
If they keep Johansson, I'm guessing they're going to Americanize the whole thing. So I guess the name Kusanagi is out, or maybe they.
I have
I
no
don't know.
idea. I do want to see Lucy. I don't, but she's in that, and
Hmm.
from what I've seen, she does really well in it. But the storyline, I think, kind of falls apart halfway through. I think is what I've heard. But yeah, um, yeah, I think as an actress, I think she could pull it off. But whether the storyline will be sufficient, I have no idea because I've never seen Ghost in the Shell. Um, and to be honest, I can't think of any other animes that I have seen that have been turned into
Yeah.
movies.
Someone a lyrical one asked if you've seen the Big O.
I'm not even. I have no idea what that is. Let me
Guy in
look
a
that up.
guy in a big robot. Um,
I don't.
someone joked about Hollywood making an
Big goat.
adaptation of Kill La Kill, and that I would like to see. That would be pretty funny.
Okay, the Big O. IMDb's little description is a futuristic city with lost memories. An expert negotiator fights threats to the city with the help of an android and his own giant robot. Sounds interesting.
I think it's kind of lame, but it never really grabbed me. It's got a real solid fan base. There are a lot of people that really like it.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell, I've never been that big a fan of. It was actually one of the first anime I had ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So way back in like the 90s or something, I had heard of this anime thing. So I went to Blockbuster and they had two anime. They had Ninja Scroll and Ghost in the Shell. So I rented them both and I watched Ghost in the Shell and I was like, well, it's pretty, but as a movie, it's kind of eh. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
dislike it. I just was like, it's okay. And then I watched Ninja Scroll, and it's one of my favorite animes. So I saw Ghost in the Shell 2, which is mind-numbingly gorgeous while simultaneously mind-numbingly boring. I really did not like that movie, and I've seen a bit of the show, the TV standalone complex, and
Yeah.
liked what I saw.
Yeah. T Dude says that you know if Michael Bay makes a Xenoblade film, forget about it. And my initial thought is, Xenoblade would probably have enough explosions for Michael Bay, but there's absolutely zero opportunities for him to force an American flag into every scene. So yeah, I don't think Michael Bay would take that up.
Well, he might do a Xenoblade Chronicles X then, because the main city thing appears to has an American flag on the side. So it seems to be an American space pod that escaped. But
Yeah.
anyway, moving on. We've had a few ratings kerfuffles this week. First of all, I suppose we could talk about. Hey, you remember how Australia added the R18 plus rating? So finally, adult games can be released in Australia, so consumers can decide for themselves whether or not they want to purchase stuff. Remember, we had a poll about that like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and one of the options was it's not going to matter. The government will just refuse to classify anything it doesn't want Australian gamers to play. Yeah, that's what's been happening. So Hotline Miami 2 was refused classification in Australia.
Yep.
Let's see. It says in the sequence of gameplay footage titled Midnight Animal, the protagonist character bursts into what appears to be a movie set and explicitly kills 4 people who collapse on the floor in pools of copious blood. If that's copious, they haven't seen many games. But anyway, often accompanied by blood splatter. After stomping on the head of a 5th male character, he strikes a female character wearing red underwear, because that's important. She is knocked to the floor and is viewed lying down in a pool of copious blood. I think someone got a dictionary word of the day book, and copious was it. The male character is viewed with his pants halfway down, partially exposing his buttocks. He is viewed pinning the female down by the arms and lying on top of her, thrusting, implicitly raping her, either rear entry or anally, like that makes a difference, while her legs are viewed kicking as she struggles beneath them. This visual depiction of implied sexual violence is emphasized by it being mid-screen, with a red backdrop pulsating and the remainder of the screen being surrounded by black. So, Devolver Digital released a statement saying, it released a statement and an actual clip of the scene in question, so you can see for yourself what this actually looks like. And it says, first, to clear up any possible misconceptions, the opening cinematic that was first shown in June of 2013 has not changed in any way. You might remember that there was some controversy over this particular scene way back, like a year and a half ago, and the developer said, okay, we'll put in a, this scene contains implied sexual violence. Do you want to skip it? Kind of like the No Russian thing in one of the Call of Duties.
Yeah.
They go on to say, we also want to make clear that players are given a choice at the start of the game as to whether they wish to avoid the content that alludes to sexual violence. The sequence in question is presented below in context, both after choosing the uncut version of the game and after choosing to avoid content that alludes to sexual violence. Second, in response to the report itself, we are concerned and disappointed that a board of professionals tasked with evaluating and judging games fairly and honestly would stretch the facts to such a degree and issue a report that describes specific thrusting actions that are not simply present in the sequence in question and incorrectly portrays what was presented to them for review. And that's true. I did watch the sequence in question. There is no thrusting.
No, there isn't.
So shame on you, Australia. One, for not doing your job, and that's what I consider a ratings board that refuses to give a game a rating is doing. They're not doing. It's not doing its job. Now, if the game you're looking at doesn't fall into any of the categories you provide, then it's your rating system that's failed, and you need more rating categories or something. But you don't refuse to classify something. Anyway.
Now, also, to follow up on this, once that scene once the scene progresses to that point, a director calls cut, and and it pans out, and there's a camera crew and everything, and so this is the set of a show or a movie or something, and so just based on I don't know how. Anything after that because I've never played the game, but at that point it implies that this is just a movie that they're filming, and so that puts it in a different context than what I think the Australian ratings board, just kind of ignored when it came to applying their decision there. They basically cut out the complete context of that scene by ignoring the fact that it was a film being made. But context doesn't matter when you have the ability to ban things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, now, to be fair, I suppose, and I should have pulled this up earlier, the R18 classification, the Australia's classification system does still explicitly exclude specific types of material. And I think, drug use and implied sexual, not content, sexual assault, are some of the no-nos that will make them refuse to classify something. But really, again, my thoughts are whatever's in the game, write it on the box and let the consumer decide whether he or she wants to buy it or not.
Yeah.
So another wrinkle to that story that was kind of interesting is a Australian gamer emailed or tweeted or whatever the developer of Hotline Miami and said, "Hey, your game's banned in my country, but I would really like to play it. So, can I torrent the game and PayPal you or something? What would be the best way for me to legitimately obtain the game from you so that you get paid for it?" And the developer allegedly said, which was later confirmed by someone else that it was him. It says, "Just pirate it and enjoy, buddy." So.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would have said, pirate it and, PayPal me, but I'm greedy.
Yeah. Well, and, I'm, these developers, I think, with the first Hotline Miami, I think they had a pretty lax attitude towards piracy back then, too. Mm-hmm. So I'm not really surprised by this statement from them.
Sorry, yeah. I'm looking at comments on the YouTube version of this.
Oh yeah.
This podcast, and I think whoever commented that the Wii U sucks balls deleted their comment. So, oh well. It's like I live in a one-room studio apartment. I can, and so I sleep in the same room with the Wii U, so I can confirm that the Wii U does not suck balls. Classy. I am a classy person. All right. So, in addition to Hotline Miami 2 and the other part of the country, we've got, or other part of the world, we have Hatred, which got an adults-only rating from the ESRB. Now, it's not clear if the ESRB assigned, someone actually looked at the game and said this is an AO and gave it an AO, or if Creative Destruction, the developer behind Hatred, filled out one of those automatic digital game forms, and it was automatically generated an AO rating. Yeah. Don't know which route they went, being that it's a digital game, and I'm guessing I never got the sense that they had any aims for a console version, or this ever being on store shelves in Walmart. I can't. It doesn't seem like the most highly funded studio, so I imagine they would have went the cheaper route of just filling out the form and submitting it and getting the auto rating.
Yeah, and that's what I assume has happened, and still it's kind of up in the air. The ESRB and these guys. Creative Destruction, neither one of them have confirmed how it got the rating, but a lot of people seem to assume that the ESRB themselves reviewed the game and then gave them the AO rating, and to be honest, that just seems to be a little.
It's an assumption.
It's an assumption, and it just seems like it's something that we probably shouldn't be going with at this point. had this happened 2 years ago, then it would have been sure that it was the ESRB that gave them the rating. But since they launched that digital rating service 2 years ago, there's no way to tell, especially for a game that's from a small developer like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly can't think of any platform that they're launching on that even requires it, because Steam doesn't require it, a rating, and I can't think of any other PC digital distribution services that require an ESRB rating.
That's an interesting point. As I said, I didn't get the sense that they had designs on a console release or getting or selling it in Walmart. They probably digitally distributed on their website and Steam if Steam would take it. So it didn't need a rating. So why would it go to the expense? My guess, if you want to play conspiracy theorist, is that it went because it wanted the AO rating so that we'd be talking about it, and here we are talking about it.
Yeah, see, that's the way I lean too. Is just these guys have been riding the wave of controversy since they announced the game, and what better way to kick that wave up again than to get an AO rating for it, because AO ratings are very rare. I think the last game to really get an AO rating and make the news was Manhunt 2. And that was the last official rating that wasn't a oops, we made a mistake, let me give this M-rated game an AO rating now. With San Andreas, and then I think it was Oblivion was what somebody was saying. But yeah, this was the first game in a long time to get an AO rating directly.
Yep. Sorry, replying to comments.
That's
yeah,
right.
I agree. So I'm still interested in checking out. I'm interested to see how the game turns out, because I think it's got an interesting visual aesthetic, and other than that, it's just a shooter, which can be a lot of fun. So I mean, the context may turn a lot of gamers off, but who knows? Maybe it has some interesting mechanics and is fun to play. I don't know. If it's $20, I'm not going to try it. But I mean, I'm cheap, so.
Well, it's like I've got Hotline Miami, only because it came with a humble bundle, but I still haven't played it. So it's just never been one of those ones that I bought a bundle for and didn't seem interesting when I picked up the bundle. So.
Delirical wonders how Hatred will be reviewed when it comes out, and I wonder too. I do find it interesting because occasionally I'm trying to think of an example. Serbian film, which is actually the title of the movie, A Serbian Film. It's about a retired porn star who is roped back into the game for one last scene. It's kind of like the retired Navy SEAL or hitman who's roped back in for one last job, but who gets roped into some and finds out he's filming a snuff film. And apparently the movie is fairly explicit in its depictions of said snuffiness.
Yeah.
What was interesting is I read a lot of reviewers who are, like me, not offended by anything. Love the gory stuff, love Saw movies and Hostel, and the more depraved it is, the better. But occasionally you will come across a film or a video game or some piece of media that even the people who have cast iron stomachs and watched some of the most depraved, disgusting, deplorable crap you could ever imagine, they'll hit that line. Because I saw some reviewers, it's like, you know what, I watch a Cannibal Holocaust and don't bat an eye, but this movie, too far, man, just too far. I'm like, and I always find that stuff kind of fascinating. So Delirical, I too will kind of, and the one scene in the No Russian scene in Call of Duty, a lot of reviewers had a real problem with that specific. It made them really uncomfortable to play it, and I always find that very interesting.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing how the reviews are. I think it'll be really it'll really affect people in that way. It makes them super uncomfortable to play it, and we'll see reviews reflecting that. Or the game will be crap and just really boring. I think it's probably going to be one of those extremes.
Yeah, it definitely could be. So like a lot of these games, games that kind of ride on controversy and stuff. The gameplay is just pretty generic. Um, and to be honest, based on all the videos I've seen of Hatred, it looks like any other twin stick shooter I've seen. Other than the close up kill shots, every now
There's a
and
kill
then.
cam.
Yeah,
But other than the kill cam, if you didn't have the context for this game, it would look like pretty much any other shooter. As Viper just said, it looks like a gritty version of Smash TV, and in a way, that kind of three-quarter top-down perspective, just running around shooting anything that moves, it is somewhat reminiscent of that.
yeah.
So, all right, let us move on to new topic because we're pushing the hour anyway, as we always do. So, this was actually suggested in the Game Politics Shoutbox, and that is the limited editions and rampant scalping that is of said limited editions that's going on, usually revolving around Nintendo's Amiibo toys and the new 3DS bundles. Amiibo are $12.99 little figurines that are essentially DLC keys. A bunch of Nintendo's games will have some DLC, and some of the Amiibo toys will unlock it.
Yeah.
That's mainly how they seem to be used so far. Uh, a couple of them, like Marth, have been really, really, really hard to find, and you'll see these suckers going for $100 on eBay. And you also see a bunch of people just buying up as many as they can specifically to sell them at an inflated price on
Yeah.
eBay. Because there's 4 or 5 waves of these suckers to cover all 50 or so characters in this Smash Brothers game. And that's a lot of different types of toys. So it's not really surprising that there's more Mario than there is Little Mac or Ike.
Yeah.
But do you get the sense that Nintendo is shorting a supply to create demand, or they're just kind of new in the toy business and weren't quite sure what the demand would be and were just playing it a little conservative, or perhaps this is just as much as they can manufacture right now?
I think it could be just growing pains. They're entering a market that they've never been in before, so they really have no idea. That combined with manufacturing experience, they've never manufactured these things before, so they're trying to figure out what kind of inventory they need. And then finally, the last issue is the fact that a lot of these amiibos are only going to be used in Smash Brothers. The Mario ones, Mario, Luigi, Toad, Yoshi, Princess Peach, those ones can be used in other games. Wii Fit Trainer can be used in other games. A lot of those can, but like Little Mac, Marth, Shulk, those ones, Smash Brothers, and really that's about it.
Well, Marth and the other Fire Emblem characters, it was announced in the Nintendo Direct that they will unlock. Marth will unlock Marth to play as in a codename Steam for the 3DS.
Okay.
So Marth, Ike, Lucina, and the other one, Robin. All 4 of those work in codename Steam and will unlock those characters to add to your team. So, in other words, if you would like to unlock characters in the game you already paid $40 for, that will cost you over $50 in toys.
Yeah. There you go. And Viper brings up the Mega Man one. Mega Man, Capcom's basically given up on Mega Man at this point. It's like, other than Smash Brothers, where are you going to be able to use a Mega Man, figurine? That's another one.
I'm sure Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, the Mega Man amiibo, will unlock a Mega Man armor for your feline companions.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe. He
Maybe.
also points out that there was a story of some jackass who bought up as many Rosalinas as he could because he doesn't like the character and doesn't want anyone else to enjoy it. Which I have trouble believing. I think
I
that's
have trouble
probably bull.
believing that too. Anytime I hear stories about somebody buying up everything so that the entire inventory of something they hate, so nobody else can enjoy it. I like, nobody hates something that much that they're willing to bankrupt themselves in order to prevent other people from enjoying it.
Yeah. But I found it was an interesting story, and the guy says, "Oh, I don't just hate Rosalina, I hate these characters too," and he listed pretty much every other female character. And I'm like, is this pattern a coincidence, or do you just really not like... And then someone else pointed out that he didn't name Princess Peach, and I was like, oh, well, okay, maybe he just has something against those characters. And then that person pointed out, well, Princess Peach... he doesn't seem to have a problem with Princess Peach because she's the one that's always kidnapped. So, I'm like, I still think this whole thing is probably
it's a little fishy.
Yeah. I mean, there's a picture of the guy giving the finger to a box of Rosalinas, but I think only like 4 are visible. So the idea that, I mean, really, dude, you spent $1,400 on Rosalina, and that would be really difficult. That's an amount of dedication that, man, that's a lot of hate. Because buying that many, he says, well, I use my friends' accounts and stuff. It's like, if this is true, you are an asshole on the level that doesn't have that many friends, my good man. I mean, but you never know.
If he used his friends' accounts, and he's also committed a federal crime, because that's identity theft.
Yeah. Viper points out that there is a Mega Man feline, and I thought there was. There's also a Mario and Luigi one, but let's see if they. Yeah, he links to it. Let's see if they lock it behind an amiibo or something like that. The other thing are some of the new 3DS bundles. There's a Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate bundle and a Majora's Mask 3D bundle, which sold out in like under 25 minutes.
Those things got pre-ordered in no time flat, and apparently a lot of people are scalping those pre-orders online too. So
now, do you think Nintendo should be on the hook, or the retailers themselves should be on the hook for trying to do anything to prevent this scalping, like not list pre-orders for sale, like you can't resell pre-orders or something like that? Or do you think just let them do what they want to do?
Well, that is a good question, because here in the U.S., we have the first sale doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, you haven't gotten your product yet. When you pre-order something, are you pre-selling your pre-sale? Because there's nothing to stop you. Like if you went into Walmart now and bought a 3DS, and then you went to somebody else and sold it for $50 over what you paid, that's perfectly legal. But a pre-order, I guess, in my libertarian mindset, a pre-order is essentially the same thing. You're selling somebody the guarantee of getting the system. So yeah, I would say that legally there's probably nothing they can do about it, as long as the first sale doctrine is in play. But yeah, that's I don't think there's anything they could do to stop anybody from scalping these things.
Yeah.
Because I think with concert and sports tickets, I think there's some kind of contractual thing that you could get stuck with if you're caught scalping tickets. But something like this, no, I don't think there's a way to get around people scalping them.
Let's see. Someone said something. I want an early too soon. I forget what I was going to respond to. Oh well. Delirical One wants the Monster Hunter one over the Majora's Mask one, and that would be a good choice because depending on what country you live in, here in North America at least, the Majora's Mask bundle does not have the game in it, so it's not really a bundle. It's just a Majora's Mask new 3DS because the game isn't included, which is something they did. Which is something they didn't actually say on the Nintendo Direct. They do show a picture of the box, but unless you full screen the presentation and squinted, it was really hard to read the fine print on the bottom of the box. It does not include Majora's Mask 3D. Like, what? Why?
That is interesting.
You're going to have a lot of pissed off fans there, because there's going to be a bunch of people who buy the Majora's Mask bundle expecting the damn game in there. You know, the Monster Hunter bundle comes with the game.
Yeah, and when they did the Zelda 3DS, that came with Ocarina of Time. They had the Zelda Wii U, which came with Wind Waker. People have gotten to the point where they expect a game to come with the themed console. Super Mario Brothers was another one. They had the Super Mario themed Wii. That came with New Super Mario Brothers. They had the Luigi Wii that came with or Wii U, whichever one that was. That came with the new Luigi Brothers U.
Yeah. Another one that grinds my gears is and a charger, Viper.
The charger.
Doesn't come with the charger either.
Are people going to scalp chargers?
Probably not. Those are pretty readily available. They're not like the component cables. They're pretty readily available. But the other one that grinds my gears is they're doing a piece of DLC where for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, where if you have the Toad amiibo, which is it's not a Smash Brothers amiibo, it's a Mario line of amiibos, which are not out yet. They'll basically, in a new Super Luigi U, they had little hidden Luigis in each level. They're going to do the same thing with Captain Toad, where there will be a little Toad hidden in each level, and hopefully the game actually recognizes that you found it and catalogs it and says, yeah, good job. But my guess would be they're probably just going to hide little Toad icons in each level, and it's up to you to find them and pat yourself on the back when you find them all, if you can keep track of it. Which is kind of a cool little bonus, but as a piece of DLC, that to me sounds like a free piece of DLC, doesn't it to you? Doesn't that sound like just
I think so.
Yeah. No, this is a $13, $12.99 plus tax piece of DLC, because I have to go out, because if I want that, I have to go out and buy a damn Toad figurine. Now, in Japan, I didn't check Europe's Nintendo Direct. In Japan, they're selling Toad Tracker bundled with the Toad amiibo. But there was no announcement of that here for North America.
Yeah,
that bugs me.
This is something that since the Nintendo Direct and they announced these bundles, people have complained a lot because apparently here the U.S. isn't getting as many face plates and
well, we're not getting any of the faceplates.
Yeah, we're not getting.
We don't have the regular size new 3DS.
Yeah, and various other things, like the U.S. is not getting things that Europe is getting and that Japan is getting, and this has happened a lot.
And our Club Nintendo rewards suck.
Yeah, it just really makes you wonder. It's like, what in the world is Nintendo of America thinking? Is Nintendo of Japan specifically blocking these items from Nintendo of America, or is Nintendo of America saying, no, people don't want this, they don't want this, they don't want this, they don't want this, let's just stick with these little things over here and they'll be happy. It's like, I'm trying to figure out exactly what is going on here, because to be honest, I can't see any valid reason not to have all these faceplates and the smaller 3DS or new 3DS and all of that.
Maybe it's the manufacturing thing. They just can't manufacture enough, so they'll release the regular size new 3DS later in the year.
Maybe I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. But there's another one, Mario Kart, not Mario, Mario Party 10. Interacts with amiibos in that the Mario line of amiibos unlocks one of the three modes, and they say, since Mario Party 10 requires amiibo, we're gonna bundle it with a Mario amiibo. They didn't list a price, at least for North America, and that always scares the hell out of me when they don't do
Well,
that.
I don't see them going up too high. It'll probably be $10 more than a normal game, because
Probably.
when they would bundle a Wii remote with games,
Mm-hmm.
that was always just $10 more than a normal game. So yeah, I don't see it being more than $10 over. So I guess that would be what, $70 for a Wii U game.
Amazon lists it for $59.99, so
Yeah,
the one that comes with an amiibo is probably going to be $69.99. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I don't see that happening, or I don't see them going much higher than that if they do.
Yeah. So I mean,
Um,
you save a couple bucks there, but I'm also not clear on how many damned amiibos you need to play the amiibo mode in Mario Party 10. Do
yeah,
you need an amiibo per player? Does each player need their own amiibo? Uh,
hmm,
or do you just need one amiibo to unlock amiibo mode, and then you can select an amiibo character and select which board you want to play
yeah,
on? Or are the characters you use and boards you play on restricted to which toys you own? And if it's the latter, double middle fingers, because I hate that
yeah.
crap.
Yeah. I think that it would be interesting to see what they do with that. Mario Party is probably after Smash Brothers and Mario Kart. Mario Party is probably the next biggest franchise you know that could really really use the amiibos to their full effect. But yeah, they've got to do it smart in order to make it happen. But yeah.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I'm kind of in the minority here. Most people either like it or just don't care. I'm one of the few people who is legitimately aggravated by this stuff. Um, Disney Infinity is still the worst, followed by Skylanders and then Amiibo. So Amiibo's doing it better than any of the others.
yeah, Disney
But
Infinity is just absolutely terrible, because it's like the game comes with like one character or two characters, and that gives you like three levels. And in order to play more, you've got to buy more figurines. But
well,
Skylanders,
actually,
you can play through the whole game, but there's just certain areas that are blocked off
yeah,
unless you have the
Skylanders,
specific
you
characters.
can play, I'd say 90% of the game, ignoring the two full levels that are locked out unless you buy a $25 toy to unlock them. You can go from beginning to end and play the entire game, all the levels, beat the boss. You're just missing little side areas, which is still
Yeah,
annoying, and you can only play with the characters that you own. Disney Infinity, um, you not only you can only play as the characters that you own, you can only play in the levels that you own, because when you buy, usually they come in 3 packs.
yeah,
They'll come with a playset level. So in the original Infinity, they had Monsters Inc., Pirates of the Caribbean, and uh, Mon- Monsters Inc., Pirates of the Caribbean, and something else. And so you could play those 3 levels. You wanted Lone Ranger, you had to buy a Lone Ranger toy, and which I think came with the little level thingy. But
yeah.
man, I priced out Skylanders Swap Force, and it was over $400 to unlock everything, to buy enough toys to play in all the areas of the game. Disney Infinity is a lot more than that. For
Yeah.
example, the Disney Infinity 2.0 that I have, which comes with the Marvel characters, I can play as who is it? Or Iron Man, Black Widow, and Thor. But you only get the Avengers playset, so you get the one level, which apparently is 4 hours of content. And I'm like, this thing costs $75. I expect more than that. And now, granted, there is the toy box mode
Yeah.
where where everything can just go in together, but it's like I don't want to design my own area. That's just not for me. Anyway, so yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like toys that unlock crap that's on the disc. I guess it's kind of better if they're DLC keys, kind of like the amiibos tend to be, but that makes for very expensive DLC keys. For
Yeah.
example, if I want to play with the spinner weapon in Hyrule Warriors, I have to have a Link amiibo, which I think, or Zelda. I think you can have one or the other, but I need an amiibo. And, I might pay $1 to get the spinner, but I'm certainly not paying 13 plus tax.
Yeah.
And maybe if they gave you the option, it's like if you have these toys, you can unlock whatever the hell they unlock, but we're not going to require you to get the toys. Of course, that kind of defeats the point of these stupid things in the first place. So,
Yeah.
hate. Let's see what's going on. Nintendo and Disney are selling well with the figurines. I like it. Glad you do. Some characters can only be used in a certain mode as well with Disney Infinity too. That's right.
Yeah.
The Marvel characters can only be used in the toy box where everything can be used. But if you buy you can't use the Marvel characters in someone else's levels, like the Frozen levels or whatever.
That's really annoying.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this. My kids like looking at all the Skylanders figures at the store.
Yeah, they're
But
really well designed.
I've kind of set my foot down and said, no, we're not getting this game at all. We've got plenty of other games to play that don't require us to spend $500 buying figurines.
Mm-hmm.
Be happy with those.
And to be fair, Skylanders is a decent game. It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's very cute. There's obviously a lot of love that Toys for Bob puts into it. I think it's Toys for Bob. A Disney Infinity I haven't played yet, but it looks terrible. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll check it out here eventually. But man, does it look terrible.
But I'm waiting for Nintendo to come out with the a full line of Pokemon amiibos to be used with Pokemon games on the new 3DS. And do an amiibo-based Pokemon game. That'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, because there's 800 Pokemon.
Wow.
I know they want to do one for each Smash Brothers character, but man, Nintendo, do you have the ability to handle that many toys?
Viper mentions this, and you may need to clarify. It says codename Steam Fire Emblem characters permadeath every day. If they die, you can't rescan them until the next day. Is that correct?
Right. The Fire Emblem character, you can, if you have the Fire Emblem, one or any of the 4 Fire Emblem characters from Smash Brothers, those amiibos, you can scan them into codename Steam and use them in your campaign. However, like in the Fire Emblem series, if they die, they're dead, and you can't rescan them until the following day. So what Viper's saying is that, what if I'm out and about, I have to carry the damn toys with me? Yes, that's exactly what. So.
Or you can pop the base of those toys open, take the chip out, and just carry the chips around with you.
Or just rip the toy off the base and just carry the flat disc that they stand on. I would imagine there is going to be some type of Pokemon amiibo type of thing.
Yeah. Well, they do have Pikachu for Smash Brothers. I think that's the Pokemon.
Jigglypuff and Charizard, I think, are the Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 'Cause I couldn't remember. I've only seen the Pikachu one. So
Hmm. Oh, and Greninja's also one of the playable, the lizard guy with the tongue wrapped around his face.
interesting.
I don't think his amiibo's out yet. Maybe he's wave 5 or 6 or something like that. But
Yeah.
that 4 Pokemon. Are there any more? Oh,
I have
the
no
blue
idea.
fox guy, Lucario. Is that right? I think his
I have
amiibo's
no
out.
idea.
I think he's a Toys R Us exclusive or a Best Buy exclusive or something. Some of the amiibos are retailer exclusives, which kind of annoying, but
Yeah.
yeah. T Dude points out, wouldn't it be cool if Nintendo were to have an option to use the Shulk amiibo for either Xenoblade Chronicles X or Xenoblade Chronicles 3D? From my perspective, no. No, it wouldn't, because I don't have the Shulk amiibo and I don't want to buy it. Unless they do something particularly inventive and cool, which requires the use of a toy, and there'd be no other way to do that new cool thing without the toy, that I'd be totally fine with. But if you're just forcing me to go out and buy a $13 toy just to unlock content in a game I already paid $60 for, no, I am not okay with that. But I'm also stubborn as a mule, so.
Wouldn't it be cool if Nintendo were to have an option to use Shulk amiibo for either Xenoblade
Yeah.
Chronicles X or yeah, you know.
I would be surprised if the Shulk amiibo doesn't do something in Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah, well, and they have a didn't I? Yeah, they're re-releasing the original the Xenoblades onto the 3DS.
The new 3DS is actually
You have
exclusive to. It will only work on the new 3DS. Yeah.
So they should use they need to have something for Shulk on that too.
You know, one of the uses of the amiibos that I really don't mind is what they're doing for Kirby Canvas Curse, no, Rainbow Curse, Rainbow something, the Kirby game for Wii U, and that is the Kirby Meta Knight and Dedede amiibos. Essentially unlock kind of cheat modes. They're almost like little game sharks. So you use the Kirby amiibo, you scan it in, and you get unlimited boost power or something. So if you're in and you can only use it once per day. So if you're in a level and you're having trouble, if you're having trouble with a level in Kirby, maybe video games aren't for you. No. So they give you little cheats, little stat boosts and bonuses to help you through the level. That I'm fine with. That's cool. Because that's not something I would ever use, which is why I'm Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nintendo's been doing this for the last couple of years in Donkey Kong Country and the Mario games. You have the Super Guide thing, where if you die 8 times or something in a level, it will say, "Would you like us to play the level for you, or would you like this white Tanuki suit that will give you invincibility, and unlimited flying, or something like that?" If the amiibos unlocked Super Guide-like abilities, I'd be totally fine with that. That's fine, but unlocking content that locking content to the amiibos, that I do not like.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
So okay, I think that's it for this week. We are done. Nintendo did have a direct, and it's 45 minutes long, and it's still worth watching if you're a Nintendo fanboy like me. Even though there are things to complain about, there are many a good thing, like now the Fire Emblem characters have feet. So also another thing that I thought was pretty cool about the direct is they announced Puzzles and Dragons, the Mario edition.
Mario, yeah,
right.
Yeah,
And I was
that
watching.
was interesting.
Right, and I was watching the direct and I was thinking, that's cool, but they never released the original Puzzles and Dragons here, so I never got to play it. I never got to experience pure Puzzles and Dragons, And then it says, so we're putting the original Puzzles and Dragons and Puzzles and Dragons Mario Edition in the same package. And I'm like, oh, Nintendo, you're too good to us. And then they come out with other crap that annoys me. But yeah, it's up and down with Nintendo. So, okay, that's it. Let us plug our stuff and be out of here. I'm Andrew Eisen. Eisen is the last name. Type it into YouTube and find my videos. I'm working on some stuff. Hopefully, I'll get it done this weekend, but I've been very, very lazy, and I may not do anything. Also, I was going to do a video on something I thought Nintendo got wrong, and then I read the fine print and realized that Nintendo got it right. So I'm like, well, there goes that video. I've been thinking about doing stuff on, Sarkeesian's videos, but it's like, I don't know, not that timely anymore. I mean, I assume she'll have a new video here eventually. It's been a few months. I was going to do
Yeah.
one on the what are known as the Gamers Are Dead articles, which is a series of articles that came out in the middle of August that a lot of people took really personally and had a problem with. But again, that was 5 months ago. It's not that timely. So I'm not sure what the point of doing. The lyrical, you liked my mom reaction video. I'll have one for my sister pretty soon. So I kind of waffle back and forth on what's worth doing. I mean, I was thinking about doing a Nintendo Direct video, and I'm like, well, by the time I do it, it's going to be a week later. No one cares anymore. But anyway, you can find my videos on YouTube at Andrew Eisen's Twitter. Andrew Eisen YouTube is the name of my Facebook page. So there's all that cool social media stuff. And hang out with us on GamePolitics.com. We're always in the shout box.
Yeah.
Zachary, plug away.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Easy Night and check out DK_gaming for my game development work. That's DivineKnightGaming.com. And if you're interested in the Oklahoma game development scene, it's OK Game Devs on Twitter and OKGameDev.com. And there's currently a really cool looking Indiegogo campaign that a developer here in Oklahoma is doing called Toho Super Smash Battles. There's links to that on OK Game Dev, and so check that out and support them. It's a great game. They've already hit $20,000, which is double their original asking price. So they're doing pretty good. So, but that's it for me.
All right. One more thing before I credit us out of here. We've seen Nintendo do this a couple of times with Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 2 is a game that Xseed was working on, Platinum was working on, and wouldn't have gone anywhere if Nintendo didn't step in to publish it. Right? No one would have got to play it. Period. They did the same thing with Devil's Third, which is supposed to come out this year. So maybe we're seeing a trend, and we'll see Nintendo rescuing a lot of games that otherwise would never see the light of day. So if that's the case, I really, really hope that Nintendo rescues Beyond Good and Evil 2.
That would be awesome. Yes, totally awesome if they did that.
Yep. So anyway, that's my dream. So we're out of here. Thanks for watching. This was episode 127 of Super Podcast Action Committee. We stream every night, 6 p.m. Every Saturday night at 6 p.m. on GamePolitics.com. So please
Except
join
for
us.
the times when we don't.
Except for the times that we don't, which was pretty much just over the holiday break. If we have to move it back an hour or do it Sunday night, keep eye on GamePolitics.com or my Facebook page or something like that. We'll let you know. Anyway, you can send us email at superpackpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at superpackpodcast. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes and like us on Facebook. We're out of here. See you next week. Bye-bye.
All right, see ya.